he says they have through the county. Propane basically is what it is that they would be hauling. So very low number, but that's 25 cars over the 12-month period.
Do you have any further questions for Mr. Garmeyer?
Is it a grant that we've already applied for, or we have to apply for it after we?
The grant cycle, we have to have the invoice and have to have it paid by the end of September in order to remain. Getting the 20,000 so that when that invoice does come, we can.
Thank you for refreshing my memory. I apologize.
Yes.
Further comment? Thank you, Lee.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks, Lee.
So we have Kathy. GAI.
Here's a request appropriation for the 24-25 JDI grant, $74,975.
Take those separately or together, but that's the aggregate.
About how that'll be used, please.
It's got its breakdown in the packet.
The only change here, $10,000 has been made available for research, and we're partnering with the university. It hasn't helped. We've been through the approval process. It's right now at the university's independent review office that we can share juvenile records as well as from Judge Law. Very small team.
And is this the difference from what was returned? This isn't the same?
I don't.
Totally different. Totally different.
It was.
I think that's a totally different grant.
I did not do after.
It was the one you got.
$5,000 out of about $150,000 that we returned from 23-24.
If you run a fiscal year of what?
Sorry?
Is your fiscal year?
July 1 through June 30.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Was that all put together?
Yes. I'm sorry. I make a.
Any other questions for Kathy?
I'm more inclined to understand why you decided to step back.
We have prosecutor's office probation. We have used it's very, very difficult, and they change the rules as you move along. So Pam and I put the application together. They came back. At some point, Pam and I said, no, it's just running out. Those funds are out there.
Right.
But I will. And our population is so small that we struggle to spend that 150.
I am probably absolutely 100% in agreement that just because there's money, that's why I just want to make sure that we're investing to make sure that we're protecting them for the future, because they're
I would assume that you believe that the work through JDI is addressing that.
good point, yeah. I think there's probably a lot more that issues, and I've spoken about this over and over again, is where are the beds for the kids that need it, right? Where is that? Why is that still not?
That the need for beds has decreased because we have implemented community support programs. Try to detain a kid in a year and been turned away. I can't address other counties because our concern is here.
Right, well, maybe be drugs or something that's going on. I've been on numerous, whether it be from probation to the sheriff's department, that our sheriff's department has to wait at the hospital for days.
So now you're talking about mental health issues.
But it's still, this is still the
That becomes an infrastructure issue that's statewide. So I'm not sure, I mean, if we could address that in Steuben County, I would be on top. Juvenile is outside of our scope. Now, that said, it doesn't mean that partners can't come together and that it's definitely a need.
Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Prosecutor's office up next. Two different requests.
Bookkeeping, housekeeping, annual wages haven't obviously been changed. We just need to shuffle some money around because due to it says reimbursable grant, but I think that's a category that it's not a grant that we apply for. It's a third party. Monies, and we've had this open for probably 5 or 6 years, and we've had hardly any monies. Total there, less than $500 is what we have in that account.
25 cents.
Now, that's the percentage. The company billed us, so when we recoup the money, it must all come to the county, to the auditor's office. Then they send statements. Is that correct? Yeah. So we have to actually appropriate that money to be able to pay it out to the company that recoups the money. Like a grant, but I don't know, it's not a grant that we apply for.
To a collection agency.
I don't have the details of all of that. Like I said, it was set up through the state. I honestly don't even have the documentation with me. I haven't really looked over it, and I don't know that there are a lot of.
It's very, very high, that percent.
Take each of these.
Yeah, you just take that.
The balance that we have in our account, Christina, is our percentage of what they. So the actual dollar amount that was recouped and went back to wherever that child support was owed.
It all came here and then we were invoiced, you know.
The money that came to us was our percentage as child support and the collection agents.
It's a crazy amount.
No, the only money we get is our portion and the collection company. Yeah, we just have to pay it back to.
Second that we pay our bills.
Okay, raise your hand. 6. Thank you. Okay.
The next. Child diversion fund, that line item is for our victim assistance director. When annual wages were increased last pre-trial diversion, Autumn is 80% VOCA grant, 20% county paid. The 20% of her wages comes. She ends up with the annual wage amount that was approved.
This
We
is
can't increase the grant fund side. We have to increase the pretrial.
To approve.
Second.
I just wanted to write it down. Thank you.
It's for victim assistance, yes.
Thanks. All right.
The next is an actual. General, I'm still learning the new numbers with Lau. Within County General, when Cedric Halabaugh was hired, wages in County General, 009, our prosecutor side. About 3 weeks or a month after he got on board, which is paid for out of the STOP grant, a portion of his wages. So because duties shifted between Ryan, who used to handle STOP, so we've been paying them correctly. I just need to get the money transferred so I can finish out the rest of the year paying his wages. Over to Ryan's line item because Cedric's now getting paid out of STOP grant monies because he's doing the domestic.
Have to do anything on that to make that happen.
No, the money's there. I just need it to go to a different line.
And what's the second one? Your part-time to your
The
admin?
second. Be transferred from 2 full-time line items over to a part-time because I have somebody retired. To get a part-time person, I had 0 applicants for part-time work. So we did fill our position. I need to move $2,000 back from the part-time line item back to the original line item. And age the same as what it would be had she been in the prosecutor's office the whole time. So her actual hire date is employees that have transferred into our department. It's keeping them at their annual amount based on their actual hire date. So it's not new money, it's money I already stole from that line and put it into part-time in hopes that we could get somebody to come in and cover. And at this point, we have But
Wow.
yeah,
One at a time or, you know?
I was gonna do these two, the transfers together.
Okay.
Is that okay? The 25,099.30 and the 2,000 to the appropriate line items so that they can pay.
Any further comments or questions? Leads us to salary ordinance. I'll let me read that out.
You can read it by ordinance.
2024 wages by passing the 2024 salary ordinance number 1013 on December 12th, 2023, and whereas another within county government shall receive compensation equal to that of a new hire for the position and job classification they are moving to from department to department. Whereas Steuben County Prosecutor's Office has hired an employee who transferred from the Steuben County Community Corrections Department, county government, and criminal justice field, and whereas Steuben County Prosecutor's Office is now seeking approval from the Steuben County Council Board to start this employee's annual, which is the same as the outgoing employee, but at a lower salary than the incoming employee was formerly being paid. Steuben County Council Board to have the increase retroactive back to the date of hire, July 26, 2024. The prosecutor's not a workers within the same department with the same years of service. Now, therefore, it be ordained by the Steuben County Council to continue to increase this employee's annual wage to $42,976.75. This increase in the annual salary should be made effective retroactive in this 13th day of August 2024. Ordinance.
Motion.
Rick?
And was that to approve as written?
Yes.
Second.
Discuss unless there's a second, correct?
Second the motion just for the item.
Discussion.
Because at the end of the day, the second paragraph states that they're going to be hired in as a new hire. So,
Ask Gary.
go ahead.
Your current salary ordinance does down to the new higher rate for that category. However, county council has historically allowed and be recalculated at that category. So that's what was done with this employee. Number that we came up with.
But hasn't that historically, that's just been like this last year, right? Like,
I want to say last 2 or 3.
the prosecutor's office was one of, it was, first it was a different department. And then it was, we came back to somebody who had moved. Right, and we retroactivated.
Yes, last year we transferred somebody from the clerk's office over to child support and kept her in. We came to you and asked for one of our prosecutor's side who transferred over years before that and had to start over to bring her up to. Requesting that they keep their higher date. That started maybe 5 years ago. Yeah. There's been a.
I think that that's increased that amount of poaching because we've allowed that to happen?
Increase the amount of his requests.
Yes.
And if they're in a position in a different department that doesn't work for them anymore, that you don't lose that employee entirely, you transfer them to a seat that maybe.
I mean, that is the other half of it.
It is.
Getting somebody with experience is so hard. Like you said, you didn't have anybody apply.
For part-time, I had. We have to continue to work. We have cases filed like crazy again this year, so. A live moving person that doesn't work for us at all.
Realign.
Correct. Yes, I have to go backwards and recalculate the category in which they are now, the new job description is categorized.
Less, significantly less, actually. I'm not sure what her annual wage was over there.
So that wage was,
Still taking a pay cut to do this. So it's not like they're jumping to get more.
And we're jumping to get more money.
Yeah.
Staying in my lane. There are a lot of transfers, or it becomes transfers. We need to identify what departments they are and make sure we're careful that that isn't a product of. Not suggesting that in any way of any department currently, but I'm just simply saying that there's, in business, they're leaders. We just have to be cognizant of that, right? That we're not putting.
Thank you, and we're moving towards, obviously, if this is a pay cut, towards it.
The position that you're filling, is this going to be an increase to your budget or is it?
It's the same, and I was gonna tell you that. So for our 2025 request. Yeah, so my numbers are fine for 2025. And this number would have been fine had I not. Training weeks before this person retired, so. That did not happen.
Any further comments or questions?
Yeah, sorry. The retroactive date, that's just back to the date that she started. Just so payroll gets it correct.
Yeah.
This person that you took, or was there
About
not?
6 applicants. And it was posted May 1 through June. Yeah,
Did anyone else have experience in county government or
Oh,
in the
no.
legal world?
no.
Okay. All those in favor?
Thank you for answering all my questions.
That's okay.
Thank you. There's two. Make a motion to suspend the rule.
I'll second that. Oh, but, I'm not used to you being so wet. Fine.
Who was first there?
Bill was
Bill.
first.
Bill was
I was second. Maybe.
All those in favor of suspending the rules for second, third reading? Raise your right hand. Six.
I'll make a motion for second, third reading.
Okay. Any further discussion? Those in favor, raise your right hand. Six.
Right to show that.
All right. Brett, you're up.
And here, transfer an additional. Purchase 2 AEDs. It is the unrestricted portion of the money.
Yes.
Bill. Okay.
I'm going to ask a question here. These are you got funds 1122 and 1123 that have a lot of money on them.
Already. And that money will come out of 1122.
Why wouldn't all this come out of 1122 balance you have in there?
That's because these are county employees. They asked for help from the commissioners. They said they would, and AEDs in county-owned buildings are one of those things.
It's over $500,000 in those two funds.
It has the grant money, and then it has the user fee money. The grant money has to be spent first. to the point in the year where community corrections is going to be relying solely on the user fee money.
Budget, your burn rate's all gonna shift to the other one coming forward.
Yes.
Is the user fee equal to the same amount as the grant money?
No.
Or is it's less?
It's less. Paying. So it's very.
Just my personal thing, I'm what he's doing over there, I just didn't know if we wanted to bounce this back to the commissioners for consideration on that fund.
And that these funds can only be spent on specific things.
But he said this was the unrestricted fund, right?
That's what it said.
Within reason, that has to do with
So it is more lenient.
where I believe the sheriff is even getting a, you're taking that. The the opioid fund, spotlight. That's what was approved in there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would entertain that thought as well. I mean, and I would maybe ask for insight on why, or if that was a bad idea, but because we have it, we don't need to only spend on it. That's not a fund that makes sense.
So 1122. It didn't get spent last year.
So it just makes more sense to me. Possibly come out of that other fund.
So we don't use it, it goes back. Is that what that just meant?
No,
No.
it stays in that fund.
Stays in
It
that
just
fund.
stays in the fund.
Yeah.
Stuff keeps.
On the flip side of that, when you're, money from on that department, so it's not necessarily bad to have a cash balance.
All raises for community corrections come out of that.
That would be a heck of a raise. Half state.
Okay, further comments? Any motions?
Right?
Any further comments or questions?
For LaGrange County will come out of that,
Yes.
but the ones for Steuben County are gonna come completely out of. Not too long ago that how we partner with LaGrange when it comes to community corrections. But that we carry all of the health insurance for all of the employees, even though we're a shared office. Is that correct?
So,
But that's also how LaGrange got their work release, correct?
no, their work release is under the sheriff's department. NICC home detention for us to monitor it in their county. So we provide for that.
So we provide the employee. Sorry, I was just, right? I mean, that was just
Sharing
another,
equipment responsibility.
we have an interesting world.
Other people agree. Floor, it's duly seconded. Open up. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed? Tony? Self? That's what you call a push. I can come back around. Can hit another agenda. Be presented the same or differently.
Only about once or twice. It's normally we're not even on our.
So I think it's it'd be nice to get them. Comes back to us. Or we have a tiebreaker vote here next time.
This is for a grant received through the Indiana Department of Health. It was 8906, but then the auditor discovered it's supposed to be 920. I think.
No, the paperwork came in as, should I put my notes on that? Federal? Requested his grant, said that it was a state funded grant, and it's not, it's federal. And we there's a lot of information that we have to upload for the federal government as well. Is correct in the auditor's office and for reporting purposes.
So really, it's just a bookkeeping thing to make us be.
Just changing it from, what did I say, state to federal? There
Yeah,
we go.
the 8906.
Couldn't read what this is here. Number to deduct than what the irregular.
Oh, it's because it was 2017, the purchase balance? Yeah. The purchase was lesser.
Yeah. And the amount that it cost was $1,239.20. Actually getting the grant, the price has changed.
Well, that never happens.
Yeah.
Motion?
I would love that. Ruth?
And I will second.
Christine? Thanks, Brett.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Thank you for always bringing such light to the room.
I apologize. I get energetic when I find it. So today, labeled as additional appropriations, they are past, and Auditor, you may have to help me with this. In the past, our budgets we submit to council yearly reflect the deduction. We had an officer that was on a COPS grant, I believe, based on what the percentage paid by the COPS grant, we reduced that in the financial request for the budget. This is to, what's asked of us is to put all of the money in the line item, and then as it's we're asking for all the money to be in the line instead of me just asking for what I actually need
Yes.
before reimbursement.
And also with
I
Ann.
just wanted to make sure I'm explaining that correctly.
Yes.
You're asking for all the grant money to be put into the line item.
Let's say I only ask for 40,000 during budget cycles. So a budget year, I only ask for 40,000 for one officer because the grant's going to. The problem is, I think, as we've gone through the years, we actually run out of funding before we're reimbursed.
In the past, Ann has always had a separate sheet that you guys will get periodically with additional. And ask for that money to be appropriated for those grants. The departments weren't doing it. This is putting it back in the departments. Requests instead of the auditor's office when it gets down to the end of the month or wherever, going through all the lines and seeing what's next.
So as I'm clear, so next year, as an example, I have an officer on a COPS grant, instead of me asking for I'm just gonna ask for the whole amount.
Isn't that gonna make your budget look a lot different?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but yeah.
He's approved for his portion, $30,000. That's what he will ask to be appropriated.
It's up to both sides here because it's kind of a multi, but. So we need to identify though. Whether it be a key or something to allow us to see that we're not giving a raise, we're just appropriating now.
You've already approved the grant and the request to go for it.
When
And
we're looking at budget.
That's what I'm
We're gonna see
talking
talking about budget.
at budget
Yeah,
time.
sure.
So
This scenario happening, I understand that it's the right process. It makes it easier for the auditor office, so I'm all in. Able to see what's changed, so therefore, when we're in the weeds with all this big thick book and trying to, we're not going, oh my God.
Allow you within the budgets under, let's say, it's 009s that are COP grants or whatever line item.
Yeah, we need a comment line or something.
There is. in the
That's,
system.
does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is that a fair request?
Yep.
Because I'm all in to make your job easier.
Yes, there is a place for comments and notes.
All right, thank
And
you.
that's new.
Okay.
So, yep.
and do do percentages first on things and.
And then it makes it easier for us, any other. I mean, I know it's is us trying to figure percentages. That's kind that apparently we don't need to do that in the prior request for budgets. And that's all I have, those three there. So I don't know how you.
I'd like to break this down into the 9140. The Marine Patrol. First of all, I want to thank you for letting Chief Deputy come and speak to the Lakes Council. Lakes one, but I made my Lakes one. He answered questions for over an hour. It was phenomenal. Heard a lot of the things. The county and amazing. I think I made this request last year and I'm going to just continue to make it, but manpower standpoint, please ask for more. I know the grant only pays you less than half of what statistics from Chief Deputy. A lot of us out there live it and see it every day, and you know, through commissioner's budget, through whatever. But when we talk about public safety in the summertime and our this is crazy, and even from the equipment standpoint.
Yes.
So I applaud what you've been doing. You guys have been doing a fantastic. I would say I would advocate to help you more if we could.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And I do appreciate Tony and Christina going. Local lake, that was wonderful. I have about 17 of those a year. Active associations that always.
Down there.
They've done a good job with their stuff, so.
Yep. Tony?
So I want to second that as well. I would say that there was, so those that don't know, there was a group of 5
Major Lake Association.
major lake associations that did serve and listen. But he presented himself so professionally, did a great job. There's a disconnect in understanding that and take care of the lakes.
Right.
That said, there's only 2 DNR in our county, so there's really no way for them to be able to satisfy. There was 141,000 people living in our county the week of 4th of July last year, not this year even. So that's almost proposes some thoughts of ways of funding and or helping to help staffing and but staying in my lane.
Yep.
Made sure that I pushed that over in the right processes and let them know how. I want to try to be proactive if we can. So there you go.
Saw a couple bad incidents again up in Coldwater Lake had one, and the shift this year from other bad behavior we've seen out there is after hours time. Boats running. Dangerous activity, and assuming you normally patrol during the day, right? Because that's when most people are on the water.
Yep.
So it's just.
That's an educational part though for some of these boaters, because Michigan, there is no speed limit after dark.
Right. If you see an MC on a because they don't have a limit up there.
Yeah.
And some of them just don't know. You're exactly right, education.
And Representative Abbott. He had been able to in the past with some of these restrictions on just impact from the wake boats. Seawalls and the public safety piece of that is really big. So things like proximity. Issues that is finally being heard down at the state level. So appreciate his efforts.
He's gonna need all our support.
But oiling those eggs has worked.
That's right, it has, hasn't it? It really. I don't do that, by the way. So thank you all for that.
First on the docket, we've got the Marine Patrol grant, $15,000. Any other comments on that one?
Is the cash, is that what's actually transferring, or that's what's there and we're transferring that into that?
Season's not over.
That's what's currently there.
And that's what currently is there. Okay. I was just curious.
Springfield grant. Of that 15. So that's how we operate. We get half of 15 in May and then half in September.
Specifically for lakes.
Yes.
That has gotten bled into.
Because it used to be 35, right?
Yeah. Register your boat and it would say lair, and now it just says excise. Or leading it, maybe we should say. Okay, so we've got a first and second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Talk to us about in process on this COPS grant, like where we're at years in. Yeah,
I don't have the particulars, I'm sorry. I think one fell off this year. And I believe we have 2 left, at very minimum. Be the 3rd year, yes. So I've got 1 or 2 on that yet.
you hearing anything about them read 2 years?
They
Yeah, it's 50-50 right now.
so yes,
Okay.
yeah. And we shouldn't have any issue if I was to. Absolutely.
It can only be used for a new position, right? It can't
Correct.
be used for
Cannot
a
be a
current position.
replacement. Yeah, it's got to be, no, I'm sorry. Yes.
We brought the new ones on.
Yes,
We're gonna be full responsible in our budgets for keeping those folks going forward.
correct.
And then again,
Yep,
Since we're so far under.
yep. Yeah, they gave us 11 last time we asked.
taken together is $50,600.
Take those together on a motion.
Please.
Make a motion for both the 8160s.
Christina. I'll state a motion. Thank you, Sheriff, for the
Yep.
detail on the breakdown on the benefits.
Yeah.
I do have one last question. How's your jail rate or your incarceration rate right now?
We're actually doing very. Right now, today, I'm in the high 80s. Am I-
86?
I'm at 86 today. Absolutely wonderful. I think probably last year, proximity 120, 115.
Wow.
So that's huge for our meal. We've been pushing pretty hard on that. I think I'm holding right now, I'm at 8. That needs to go down to DOC. So we're collecting the daily. That's wonderful. We were up as high as 15 on that here at the beginning of the year, so. We've been working pretty close with DOC on that. They do housing.
Yeah.
So he's taking others from other counties. I am not taking any.
Not currently.
No. With we just got the boilers and water commissioners, but then we've got a priority list rolling. So we're doing a lot of catch up right now, but get.
Also
Yeah,
need more
thank you.
manpower, correct? Not only do you need your facility to be better, you need more.
Doing good with what we got.
I say at the current population, you're not bad, but at
Nope.
110,
We hit,
120.
we hit 110. Our jail inspection, you'll be getting that report in the next few months. That is that's just next week, beginning of next week, we'll have the jail.
Insurance wise, I know years ago, they presented that we were shy based on the amount of beds we have.
Right.
So still ding you for
Yep. We're not having the officers,
the number.
not by the number of inmates.
I'll have something for you after we get through this motion here too.
Okay.
Don't run off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Six. Thank you. Sheriff included his commissary mid-year report in your packets.
Oh, yes.
Um,
I did not bring.
Doing well with that.
Yes, thank you.
Cell phones seem like
That's
you
everything.
can fund them all out of there.
Everything's funded out of there.
Okay.
Yep, nothing on
So
the
that's
county.
confinement and
I only give supervisors in confinement. Get one.
okay.
The additionals come into the squad cars where we have to put the Wi-Fi connection,
Yeah.
called hotspot.
Catch
For
it.
the patrol staff, detectives.
Yeah, it's back on page 71 in your
Yeah.
packets, guys.
Yeah. FirstNet, it was created after 9/11. It's pretty good pricing, 50 some dollars per unit, but that's if I'm not mistaken, about $10 less a month for each of the squad cars. And we do have 2 additional for the training room. As well, so we have a couple extras there.
The hotspot's working pretty good across the county for
They
us.
seem to work very well. I mean, we got, like anything else, you have dead spots, but to keep the computers connected. All right. First, you have phones, hotspots, everything is FirstNet. And
Understand the difference between the two.
FirstNet gives you priority calling. Yep. So not necessarily if we're on the off of using the tower because I'm using my phone. FirstNet has its own connection to a particular phone, to a government phone.
Got like a dedicated part of that.
Yeah, there's a blind line that those FirstNets connect to. And that's how we can go into a match situation. Even, you could 100 or better, because that's how many students they have. That could kill a tower pretty quick, especially if you get into where everybody's running and scattering and on them all. Good luck. Yes, that's why we went to it. Yes.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And I think on that, different areas, we have a new program with that shows us just in a pie that you can see what we're using. Broke down so I can simply follow that as well. And Kelly walks it down to me to see if we're not jumping out of a spot.
Maybe.
Give you a look. Thank you.
Back up this little bit.
Ashley, how are you?
Good, how are you? Good morning. I'm just requesting a transfer of funds within to insurance of $1,136.34, and that is to cover insurance. The insurance portion because of the grant.
Tony?
I'll second.
Comments? Those in favor, raise your hand. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you.
Tangi, clerk's office. So this transfer requests. Decreasing out of general into cents and 1119 and $200 and 2511. Clerk's fees from admin, probation fees in general. All right. So this is with new LAO account numbers.
Just to clarify.
You. Other comments? Quick. Okay. That is supposed to be covering attending a training, right?
Indianapolis. Was at an Indianapolis WIC for 2 days. Nancy was unable to go, so Debbie and Lisa.
Outstanding for doing that. It's just transferring from
Yeah.
who actually went to who's going to go.
Okay, that makes sense. You ready for a motion?
Comments? Questions? All in favor, raise your hand. Got a maintenance request. From John. general professional services contracts, $1,674.40 to the courthouse.
Correct. There's plenty of room in contracts. Yes.
Discuss with the commissioners first.
We have room in there.
Professional services contracts is one of those you see a lot on here because you just don't know going into a year exactly. I mean, some of the stuff is set, like or whatever it could be for the year. It seems like sometimes it's going to get used, so they pull it.
Okay, that makes sense.
I hope they don't get used.
Right. Do I have a motion for that transfer?
I'll make it.
Bill?
Second.
Chip? All right, give us 5 minutes. Take a quick 5 minutes.
Nice to meet you. Sandy.
I can't express how
You should have grandchildren, huh?
yeah, so I have two great. My oldest son and my oldest daughter. And they were born just this year and just excited. Like, oh.
Bill, we're at your own finger too.
Oh my. She's been in
Right.
I've been my son ever since she's been 3 months old. Allows me to have her even that.
Because that's so much fun.
Oh, yes.
That's good. I love it.
Okay.
You know, it just changes the whole perspective. Have that boy. Have that
Yes.
boy.
Yes.
And then you get grandkids that can. So,
I wish one did.
oh yeah.
There's 3 guys coming out and I'm so beautiful.
Congratulations.
And another grandbaby. Oh, yeah. Taylor. And Jada.
Want to sit down? Come on.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Going on in your world.
Yeah, yeah.
Down there.
Yeah.
3 kids.
Oh.
It's tall.
Lila is, people being wanted to. Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to do that, and if it doesn't work, I'm gonna have them send it as a signature. I was kind of looking at it to see what it was. And then
That came from. Change its rear, I don't know. I just. Sure does. You know, my favorite stuff to do is mix.
how's your daughter and so?
I know Trevor, but like, so we're now. Are really not delicious. Or otherwise Sandy is thinking because so just a thought, if you're looking in Fort Wayne, they go loud and great. Yeah, I thought.
We're in a six.
Yeah.
Right in that age.
Yeah, so after we get, yeah. Don't limit yourself. Okay, specifically, her position that maybe is somebody, I don't know, yeah. Yeah. They want some extra dollars from that too. We're not sure.
Yeah.
There's like, yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I still was over, I just said that. We just tried. Yes. All of that. Allen County is. Council, we got council, changes. I absolutely love it. It'll be interesting down there. Wow. Yeah, because they have to call for some kind, once you get, you said that he. I don't know. They were talking about it, they were right.
For you guys.
Hey, thank you. They're making me look good and buying the. Yeah, but I know you're good for it because I can show the text where you say yes. Your wife is so funny. Your wife is there.
was like, okay, so well, what elected, what office did it come? And I started, you know, and then he's like, I'm not asking. And I was like, well, I'll text him. She's like, well, you can see her. If that's what you do. I just feel bad that it's going on. I want your like, the board allows one, my bad, remote work. I understand that.
It just shut off.
Oh, I have this. It's not. Because I originally put Kelly's name on it. But can I trust you that you will pay? Yeah, you will pay your sister? I don't have extra money, I'm sorry. I put that in an envelope when I got the text message and folded it and put it in my purse so that I have it. I don't care. Oh, Tony, I have a 10.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
I'll be quick. No, we're good. So there's.
Yeah, I'll let them ask their questions if they got them, but we'll see. Thank you, Chip.
Either way, the wall.
Oh, you make money.
All right, we're gonna reconvene. We need to turn this way back on. Okay, nobody likes this after the break. So we got a lot of things on Chip's agenda here. Update on where we're at with our projects, Chip. Let's try to roll through your requests here first. For $29,000 on 1135.
To create a line item for part-time construction inspection to assist with small structure number 7. Small structure number 7, we apply. We don't use the funds. It's a not to exceed item. The construction will actually take over 25 construction season. I could wait until I got the grant, but to get contracts and get through. I would like them to be there. I'm going to use them for utility coordination because we've got some utilities we need to relocate. Day one and happen with me. So if we don't hire it out, then
Comments?
Make a motion. You ready for one?
Great. So Graham, pay that fund back directly.
this inspection. So this is all our local money. So we went after the grant for construction, it's construction only. Give me a cross hatch.
Second.
They're asking for this because I have a lot going on.
Question?
Thank you.
I've still got that motion.
It's still out there.
Hire, this is just a one-time piece to help you through this process.
Correct.
If you need it.
As needed. It's only for when I need them. I can see, them being here and needed. Very busy with the in-house programs at that time. And following after the utility companies.
Not part of our local match then?
No, it's 100% local funds.
Okay.
So this, you said not to exceed, but we might not spend all this. Anything else? In a second. Okay, raise your right hand. 6. Transfer.
So these transfers are from line items I know I'm going to underrun into line items I know I can use additional. Short about less than $6,000 for the end of the year. So I'd like to move some funds from ice control sand, which I'm not going to fully fund that. I'm not going to use all of my intern line items, so I know I could use more money in fuel. Same with ice control sand into fuel.
Well, this first one transfers number 2, got a total of 60. And 35, just said it wrong. I did say that wrong. Sorry.
It's okay. I thought I was dyslexic there first. There's gonna be an excess is because we're going to actual salt.
Correct. And filled that part of the barn already.
You're too excited right now.
I'm just gonna throw it out there, it's probably like 13. Predictions are wrong.
Congratulations.
I'm pretty happy. And that's what the next one's about, if I can order another 1,000 tons. Pull that barn up.
And it'll keep.
Yeah.
Transfer request.
Three transfers, I would move to approve.
Transfer number 2 portion.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. 6.
So the additional for gas, fuel, and lube, so my running thing through all this is I can use more funds. Plus, we've been doing a lot of work.
Activities more.
So, I went through a lot of gas and I could use more gas to make it through the end of the year. $1,744.23 in addition to gas and $80,000 into salt calcium, that $8,000. So typically on a normal year, we buy salt all through the season. I'm trying to move it all up. When the bids are open, like they did this year in July, I can just make my order in August, fill the barn, and we have our salt for the year. This year's rate's really good. So let's fill that barn.
And so we always have it, so we're not doing times where
stop putting material down until the snowstorm, because we had only what we had in the truck.
I'd be all right taking those together, both fund 1176 totaling 134,744.23.
I'll make the motion.
Comments? Questions? Favor, raise your right hand. That's it. Transfer number 3,
Get my pen up higher.
1176 still. Totaling 93,20.77. Who's gonna be running around shirtless?
Oh. We're good on that.
Comments? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Other, all right. Additionals number 4, 8120.
Real simple, these are all the money we receive for reimbursement for our grants, we just need to reappropriate them into the
35,129.61.
Take a motion for additionals number 4.
I'll second.
Under the comments questions section, I just was gonna ask, I saw that the roundabout project
to meet their 90% of the match. So we could either pony up the additional funds or push the project back. And 25 to run the project.
right, when do you anticipate construction?
So if we let the project in October, which would be great, because then we'd be passing the at bat. We can do demo, we can do tree clearing. Utilities relocate. Starting the beginning of construction season in 26. Do an accelerated contract, accelerated schedule, because it should be a 120-day closure. So.
That would be
Will
nice.
they allow me to do that? I tried to accelerate 200 north, I didn't get away.
The schedule.
Until
Oh,
So a couple of contractors who have to come in, subcontractors who have to come in and do some work. We have to line the pipe. So we want that done before we put surface on. We still have to put up a guardrail. I prefer that to be done before the surface goes. You have to give them the contract. If they.
so concrete curbing and.
Concrete work's done.
Done, which wasn't supposed to be done till this month, right?
I wonder schedule.
Ask him.
Already take your time. I'm gonna come out there, Mike.
All right, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor for the additionals, raise your right hand. 6-0. Thank you.
It's great.
Yep. Sorry. I'll let you close to the other one. So the grant.
This is the reverberate. One paving project.
So why was that in the form of like an invoice, like you bought a piece of equipment? Does it always look like that?
What piece of equipment it
I
was.
was too.
It's a pretty nice one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That might
So
be
this
a
is
big- I'll make a motion.
ready?
And I'll second.
Christina. Six. Bachi now. $690,400.
For Okoboji Trail. They send us the money up front, and we get.
Her face, that part. I was like, because that was supposed to be more money than that.
Yes,
They were supposed
it
to pay.
is. But
What phase is this?
preliminary engineering and rental. So survey through design.
Side of the road? How far off the road? How much dirt they gotta move?
We're still,
How many utilities are gonna be? I've seen the survey crews
yeah,
way back in the weeds on several occasions.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we try to get past it, right?
It's on the railroad side, so.
Motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Comments? Those in favor, raise your right hand. Any major highlights out of all those updates you gave us?
Thank you for the program you put on. I think it was, I don't know, there's a couple. Let's see the outcome of that.
Thank you guys for your time.
And we'll see you next week. Budgets.
Yes. Yeah, they haven't sent speed the final ones yet, so.
Yes.
I have to mark up one, but once that.
Thank you.
Hey, Aaron.
I am coming to you about the Certified Public Managers Program out of Ball State, which is of 6 employees who attended that program. And they approved it and sent it on to County Council for funding. So there's a total of 5. The class does start in September, and this year they have a program down in Fort Wayne. Classes. Again, it starts in September. It's a year commitment, and the commissioners did discuss an employment contract. So that. We're looking for an additional funding to send some employees to.
This text message and said, I inadvertently forgot to do the advertising for the additional. So that's. And then it'll just be a matter of cleanup next month. So that was my fault for not getting that appropriate or advertised.
Yeah, the director of the program is waiting to hear. They've already opened the application process for the program, but he said they would give us,
This is, not out of Fund 1217, it's request is out of, general. And
Employees interested in this already, or is this for you?
so I am included in the 5. The others are. Well,
So they've already been identified.
yes,
Okay.
yes, they have. I sent out an email gauging interest to see if anybody was. Interested.
Very nice.
Leadership training.
Yeah,
As I
that's
said,
awesome.
I was going to apologize between the confusion of whether we had it or.
Okay. My whole site and it would be done out in Fort Wayne. He actually has gone through the training, and he was a great resource for. Also went through the training as well. It is a training, it's 1 day per month during business hours out in Fort Wayne. And
That cost covers all 5?
$11,400, yeah.
Yeah. That seems like a good,
Actually, I think
that
it was
many classes.
1900.
so the program cost, I think we rounded it off to
Yeah.
a little bit of a higher amount, but just for ease of accounting, but the program cost. That includes all books and materials and course access.
Tony,
I'll second that.
questions on that training fund?
I could send out another email to see if there was anybody else, but those were the 6 that were interested in the initial email.
Okay, all those in favor, raise your right hand.
I won.
That's
No,
a
it's
6.
Thank you very much.
Howard.
Check the cost.
Start with the ARPA discussion on Sheets Park.
Yes, well, the first, it shows account or fund number. ARPA.
Okay,
The
so
request was made to ARPA
to ARPA, correct.
for an additional $250,000. Not do it in phases, but get it completed in one project. $6 million?
I believe that's right. I think it's 6.
The paper led us to believe that the Lilly Foundation, so
percentage, but not the entire.
Got ongoing cost escalation like everything else. This is
The request was originally made. Excuse me, my belt. So initially there was a amount, I believe it was around 100. Total cost of the engineering. Additionally, we provided, I believe it was $250,000 towards the endowment. And in addition to that, we provide annually $10,000 towards the endowment.
It's a whole lot of money. I know the city of Bangor ponied up the first time. Did they come to the them the first time around, right?
I know they've provided additional funding. I do not.
They're seeking an additional 100,000 to be approved by the front board.
Does everybody know Carmen?
I think everybody
Carmen used to be my neighbor when she was about this big.
knew this.
Any other questions on that? I have a motion. Tony?
Rickenville.
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 Totally makes sense.
Comments?
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
With our choice in tax, with what we do with taxpayer money when it comes. And they should exist. But I feel like we take care of. I feel like the county is a little on fire. Maybe that's because I'm still new and it just feels like there's stuff and stuff and stuff and we need this. And I understand it's a spit in the bucket. But I just don't know what this fills what government should fill. Like if we're talking about non-for-profits, we should. I guess I just wanted to process out loud why I struggle with this. That we put a lot into already.
Community isn't, that's all. Yes.
I'll cut in here. something that we don't have currently in the community. And when you look at the impact on schools and school populations, economic development wise, where people want. Major attraction piece for our community. And I don't disregard at all. Discussed about trying to offset future cost escalation by taking a very
And there's a lot of things that we have to provide, and there's so. Talk.
Okay, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, and we've got ARPA requests fund 8950 totaling right, and then you get, because the IT director interim, that other 10,000. So is it all advertised,
Yes, it was all advertised.
totaling 70,000?
Out of ARPA funding, which were approved by committee and then approved by commissioners and some on the council. Which will come out of revenue replacement portion. The baby vehicle. $40,000 to emergency management for purchase. All those kids.
It's not the blink.
Emergency response kits, but they're medical kits.
Right. Protective gear and. Fire department's responsible.
Staff, every single department, with the exception of Angola, they already have them directed out.
So what Lee tell us, Will, that this will assure 6 people per department that will be properly equipped? A hostile response.
That's fine.
Do all of those departments have 6?
Oh, yeah.
Come back up?
Come back up.
Because there was for a while, right, that there was some that were low.
Right. But they've all taken an active role in response training that we got to witness at Trine University. So I know all the departments in the county have done that. Police, Fremont school system, Angola, I know they have had it leading up. All taken a very active role and signed on. The comment that we talked about in the ARPA meeting, sorry. As a Trine University, okay? So let's step outside of a school setting or a factory setting, an industrial setting. Let's look at Pokagon State Park. That to maintain control of his weapon, that could have been a lot worse. In an outdoor setting with how many thousands of people. Scary what our society is sometimes puts upon us. So that's it.
I remember being at that ARPA committee, you had told them so they got their other half.
There was some gray in between past director to active interim director now. Outline city and towns and or townships or
Requested multiple times to see their budget, in which I don't know that we've seen a budget for them yet. It's on the agenda to vote for. They have been given county money for years without that.
To my email. Now, I don't know, I think they met, I know they met since then, but I should say, I think. It's me, and minutes were important to me too, you know, financials and minutes.
Sure. We struggle. Commissioners provide them with 10 or 15,000 a year or more. I don't remember what the amount is. Maybe it's 40 now. To use as they will, and fee for service.
They are one that I questioned, and I had a constituent who informed me that dog catchers used to be provides a government function based on what I just talked about 35 seconds ago. But I agree. You sit on their board, don't you? You sit on their board.
I did years ago, then it was back off. All the meetings, and then should have not attended the meeting, be forwarded to copies of everything. I've gotten one email from them since this.
I'm trying to recall. When I was on the council, I had that's 5, 6, 7 years ago, maybe. It's 3 years.
You had to find yourself.
What's that?
That was all information that you found yourself.
No, that was provided.
Is that provided?
It's a new director.
Have they hired someone?
Previous one.
Well, I guess she's interim director.
They've gone.
Wasn't Tracy Cloto, was it?
She was their board president, Tracy was. 'Cause
I think that's who was here though.
That's who presented.
It's the new one from trying. She held that class. What is her? When I came to that training that you let me come to late, that she had just stepped into that role and she's left it already. Wow.
purchase until give whomever that person may be time as far as budgets and financials and transparency. Table that for you. Just at this time.
Second that.
I'll say that at the ARPA meeting, when she came presented, she saying, I need someone just to say, yes, you're giving me the money, and that way I can prove it to all these other people, because they're wanting to see the buy-in. Up to $20,000, but you have to show us where you had gotten, we will only match dollar for dollar.
Good.
I will tell you, function. Expect that. I think that there's appears to be some chaos. Different directors, it doesn't change. I don't know what kind of vehicle this is. Is this a vehicle to go get animals or? I don't know how you don't do that. We allocate $40,000 a year. Transparently, that can change, I think, if we're not more engaged or opposed to that, but I will take the other side of that coin and suggest that we need to be able to allow it appears based on
Questions are coming up.
Even the first time they came to us, that there was too much unknown of non-disclosure of what we asked. And then they were asked at that time to seek out matching funds. And when they came back this last time, to either jumpstart this or whatever their purpose was, but we still have this not. Yeah, this is the second request that they've come before.
I only saw them the first time.
Whoever would like to take that task on, maybe to reach out to them and be like, here's what we need. We need direction, we need structure, we need the direction of.
I respect that.
You should put it to a vote whether to table or not.
Yep, we've got a motion.
We'll hear it the next time, because we're not voting it down. We're voting to table
Voting to
it.
table it. So all those in favor of tabling it, raise your right hand. Okay, so we're still looking to receive a motion for the other 50,000. 40,000 for the emergency response equipment.
Motion.
I will second it. We haven't.
She was also our past, because
I knew that she'd said that she hadn't had any
Okay, any further discussion on those two items? All those in favor, raise your right hand. 6. Insurance claims transfer.
Christina.
And Christine?
Bill Run, health insurance claims transfer. I gotta take this.
For that to be auditor.
This is our monthly transfer.
Oh, again, make a motion to, are you ready for a motion? Health insurance?
I think we're gonna get explanation here as to
No, we had to pay our bills.
the request.
We do, it's our. We have to do for the insurance that we paid out.
Clean up.
Monthly.
Housekeeping.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sorry, we see it every.
We'll now entertain a motion for the fund transfer request.
I motion to approve the way it is proposed.
First and second, any further discussion?
Let's pay our bills.
Got to pay our bills. We'll go ahead and we'll call for a vote.
All in favor?
Raise your right hand.
5.
So 5-0. All right. Kelly, do you have your additional appropriation resolution form?
I do, it should, I think I passed it out earlier. So
What's a modification to it?
with the modification, I will modify clear down towards the bottom where it says art.
Is it 40 or 50,000?
It's
Oh,
broke
there it
out,
is.
it's
Sorry.
broke out because of the
I got it.
categories.
Yes.
And everything else down through there, you guys approved.
We did not.
You take correct. Thank you, Christina.
You're welcome. Changing things up today.
Okay.
Modified.
Yeah, as modified.
So, yes, let's go ahead and do with the motion for the modifications discussed.
Correct.
And then opioid unrestricted, the very bottom item will go to 0 at this time.
Yep.
The whole thing.
For the whole thing with the changes.
Okay.
And I will second. Ruth.
If not, call for a vote. All in favor?
0.
5-0.
And that was resolution number 08-2024-01. Sorry.
All y'all.
Is that your Southern Steuben County coming in out in ya? Well, how come you don't have that Southern?
Absolutely understood what she was saying.
Okay.
It's that south of 400 south, right? Just kidding. Old reports in that took us up to June 30th of 2024. And then she included the new reports that takes us up to seem to be cooperating with what you need to do?
For the most part, yes. There's a few glitches that
Anybody have any questions about the comparison reports?
Any chance you printed them?
Motion that we
Motion on the floor for approval, Rick Scheib. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
that was for both months, correct?
Yes. That's unfair. Call for a vote. Favor, raise your hand. Five. First mid-year commissary fund report earlier when he was here. So what's that leave us with? Now this report's a little bit different, isn't it?
That one is gonna be different, yes. And that's just the 1 month.
That is just receipts for July, or posted July 15th.
Oh. And why does the bottom one say July? So, it's our page 73, but it's this one that's got the orange. It says 7/3 to 7/20. On page 73. So see how the first page says June, but the second page says that those dates in July.
Because they're always behind. And, yeah, always behind.
So what it's showing us is this is what June was, and this is where we. Yeah.
Posted to the ledger account. Okay.
Excise surtax, wheel tax distribution worksheet. If not, entertain a motion that we. Okay. So just a little further discussion. Next week, the 20th, is our meeting is at 9 a.m. instead of 8 a.m., 9 a.m. start time.
Yep. What's that at 8? It's at 9.
So it starts at 9 a.m. That's coming before us, and Kelly will give us an updated list as we get confirmed of the departments that will be coming before us. Job will be starting at 8 a.m. in September.
I got it advertised. It was advertised at 9.
And then budget books will be available to us. Will they be
Soon.
available before Tuesday to pick up, or a little bit of the change we're gonna see in that? You wanna do it individually as they pick their books up.
Yeah, because all I have is a small one in here, and I think it'll be easier to go over with you if I had like a full department that. I'll let you guys know immediately. I'll send it out via text. That's way, I'll send it by email, but I'll text you and tell you that I sent you an email.
we're missing, Kelly, that was on the list in the event Dan had to leave?
Nope, 8:20 and then,
8:20 at 9 AM.
September. Yeah,
In September, yes.
all I had.
Anybody else have anything?
Sixth is when, is it August 26th that is that what we decided? Yeah. Want to come and listen about pricing and learning all the equipment that goes on to ambulances. They're going to be here to.
EMS, is this part of the ongoing conversation about bringing everything? A separated cost throughout the age of life of the components of our EMS system?
It's to have someone else educate us about how that works.
Okay.
And then also, Rick Ring had sent out, if anyone is interested, I can forward it to you. It's the 27th. I have where you can click and watch it as a live stream if you want. Just let me know.
And legislative committee, which you all should be getting those emails if you're not.
So it sounded like at the last that they may,
Legislative committee?
for the legislative committee, I'm going to take
You awesome.
Sue Ann Mitchell's spot. So it's becoming so large, they're talking about maybe doing one or two they have. Because the north is so heavy compared to the southern districts. They just.
Might have been my fault.
So. To get you signed up for those Zoom calls. Joni and I attended the last one.
Awesome.
And I talked. I didn't talk the first 2 years I was on it, but this year I had more
I have a
questions.
question.
She made a
Back up a minute.
Yes.
EMS meeting.
It's the EMS building.
That part I didn't know.
That's why I read his email.
How many are
Upstairs and
attending?
then
Just advertising.
That's what I want to know if I'm
Yep.
going to have.
That way it is covered.
So at AIC wasn't something that was regular. You could meet for information. It was that if you were sitting on committees together and it was
To make sure that everybody's covered. So if you are gonna do that, let me know, and I can at least make sure there's a notice put out for 48 hours in advance, but I didn't know what this was.
This would fall under that.
It would fall
because
under
it's
that.
informational.
It's informational. We're
But
not
we
making-
just. We don't have to worry about.
Would you like me to
papers
ask
being
Jason to
upset
send
that
you
we
the
didn't.
information?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Totally different. Tour of the archive, facility,
I wanted to do that.
and I think that would be very a whole different.
I handed you guys. Beginning this year, they had a person set in and just observe and 4-H. This is not necessarily Purdue Extension, this is 4-H portion of it. What they in our community. This is a study that they come up with, so start looking, so maybe.
How did 4-H with the change in date and moving it back earlier?
Actually, it went fairly well. We could actually take a vacation in July and feel like a family vacation before school starts. We're there in June, so give it another whirl, see how it goes. Some good positives come out of it. Down, one thing that 4-H does teach our youth is this year was extremely high to buy. So therefore, you would see, some of these people chose not to buy them.
All right, well, if nothing. What?
I don't want to adjourn.
Okay.
Move to adjourn.
We'll sit here. All in favor? Adjourn.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody. Thoughts and